Here again. Up here again. At it again. Mm-mm-mm-mm. And still here to win, yo. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't give up. What is that? Oh, that's a camera jump right there. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't give up. Don't give in. I know this time is heavy. I remember a few months ago, yo, like um, I was in the produce section at a food line where I locally live at, and yo, like just I ain't gonna say out of nowhere, but out of nowhere, I heard this small voice say, "I'm about to open the mouth of the storm," and that was back in like the summertime. And for the past 2 years, I've been seeing like this big snowstorm coming, or just storm in general. You know what I'm saying? Snow is significant of clarification, cleanliness, or being deeply cleaned, in the earth. And so it's really cold because at this time, during this paradigm shift in the universe and how technology is, you know, uh, updating and programming us more to be outside of ourselves, I'm here to let you know, like, continue to go within. Don't give up. I said as a child, and folks around me, they didn't take heed to it up until I guess they'll see it now. I know they'll see it now. But just I told folks, what you see with your naked eye is not all of this realm. And so I see things, I hear things, I feel things, I know things that I could possibly explain it to you, of course, to the best of my ability. However, like at this time, it's just certain things that I'm permitted to say, with the guidance of my higher self and my ancestors. And some things I'm not to speak on. And that's by choice, and it's also ultimately being obedient to that choice and being definite about it and not drifting. I get it. I've been up here a few times and, you know, been up here a couple times. No views, no likes, and that's cool. That's cool, because as they say, it gets cold at the top. But I'm also going through a cleanse phase, like I'm going through a stage where I'm being polished as well. So it's not just the clarification I'm receiving from the outside and, circumstances, situations, and things and people that have been involved, in my life, on my journey. It's also about, me getting the clarity and fully transforming into who I know I came here to be. And today I'm encouraging you to continue to be true, be free, and be you, because gratitude is a chosen attitude, and I know that right now it can be hard. It can be hard. Like I know you tired. Like I'm tired. I've been through some things. I'm tired. Not gonna sit up here and sugarcoat it. Like I'm tired, and I know some others are tired too. You know, if you, I know that. Well, I say this first about me. I know that I've been waiting on some things, to come through for me, and I've grown to know that, time is patience. And also, I like to mention this too. I uploaded a video, a short, on conditional and unconditional love. And I just came to the knowing that it's the type of love that I receive that helped me better define in that time, in that moment of what love was to me, which is a distraction. And I believe now, and I know now that the type of love that I received was very deceitful. And so, in having that program in me, I put it out there like love is a distraction. But it was just the type of love that I received that was a distraction. And that type of love is not love. That type of love is deception. You know what I'm saying? It's really like it could be sugar coated, but I've been deceived so many times by people I thought that loved me and supported me on this journey. And it's like now And I'm not trying to put nothing out there. I don't wish nothing bad on nobody, but the mouth of the storm is really opening. You know, some people about to be sucked out, and I'm not trying to scare nobody. Like, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, bring or try to trigger you or anything like that. I'm not for, you know, false evidence appearing real. I'm all for fire, earth, air, and river. You know, as we flow and as we grow. You know, I just gotta put it out there that, you know, again, everything is everything, but at the same time, you gotta know that, and this is for somebody too, including myself, like, everything is everything, but you gotta know, like, everything is not for everybody. And, you know, everybody, if we break that up, you know what I'm saying, for everybody there is those, you know what I'm saying, is multiple, is multiplied, is billions of people, trillions of people, you know, and on this earth. And I mean, even an exhilarated like number that exceeds even those numbers, it's so many things that's going on around us, right? And those bodies are basically particles of the universe of God. And you know, just like the heart has its you know, territory and boundaries and its functions and dynamics and things like that, its structures and, you know, stuff like that. You know, it's a part of a system too, you know, that helps us flow and grow. Same thing as the brain, same thing as the blood. Like, everything is a system. You know what I'm saying? So when you break down the system and you see everybody and you notice different things about the functionalities and how people walk and talk and things like that, and you recognize, like, okay, I see that I was positioned here maybe for healing. You feel me? If we thinking about the body, you know, blood rushes to the places that have to be healed. So you could be the blood, you know, or you could be the things that were produced on the inside when something was bruised. And I'm just using those things as an example. You know, just do your best to keep up with me. If you're not on that level, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? If it seems like it don't make sense, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to keep it moving because everything is circulatory. Everything is a cycle. You know, and the reason why I emphasize to keep going is because at this time, like, I'm experiencing something that I've experienced before, but I wasn't willing to follow through because I was afraid. And I know now, like, there's no need to be afraid. Fear is the only hindrance that keeps me away. And speaking on, or can keep you away. You know, I'm speaking for myself too. And, you know, love now that I see, it's a different type of love that I'm trying to receive. And so, you know, a part of that storm, that mouth, you know, um, opening, the eye of the storm opening up, it's allowed me to see within myself the storm that I caused with the destruction of the distractions. And it's like, with that, it destroyed me to believe that the type of love that I knew was supposed to be, you know, the right love, and come to find out, like, as again, as I've said, like, people as myself have an opinion on what love is, and I realized, like, that type of love, it it brought me into a place of fear, you know, where I was bruised, you know, intellectually, and it depleted my thought pattern of the unconditional love I received once upon a time in my life, when it was just really me, and I wanted to know, you know, what God was. And I'll share this with y'all, like, on a spiritual basis, right? When it comes to my transition. So when I was 19, my grandfather passed away, and I remember it being like cold outside. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember it being this cold, but you know, it was cold outside. And during this time, I was in a relationship, and I was trying to pursue my career and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I found out what I wanted to do, and when I pursued those things, it was like right when it happened, when my grandfather passed away, and I was like, dang, like, I finally got in, I got here. And so I was truly hurt, but at the time I was fasting. I did a 6.5 day fast. And I remember up until that Thursday, I was listening to Donnie McClurkin, Great Is Your Mercy, and I just kept replaying and replaying and replaying. And I was weeping. I was weeping. I was weeping. And at that time, I was into the church and stuff like that. But I really wasn't into the church because it was things that I, like, for example, cried out about. It was like at 19, before the physical transition, it was like, God, if this is so bad, if I'm just so terrible, if what you've created is such a what is the word for it? It's just such a negative thing, I guess, that you destroy. I can't remember the word right now, but it'll come to me. But if it's all of that and I'm this, and the people that you've ordained to speak and have spoken in front of me at these altars and these churches and things, and they say one thing and they do another, like, if it's all that bad that you've ordained them to do that, and ordain them to punish me and things, then just kill me, like, excuse me, just take me away from here. And that's genuinely like what I went through and I was weeping about. And I was like, God, just go ahead, just take me out of here. Like, I won't complain, I won't do anything. I'll just let it be what it is, and I'll just have to deal with the hell that I gotta go, to, like, I gotta go to. And I remember I was weeping so much that I just began to clearly, like, hear just the voice, the higher self, within me, the God in me. And I was guided to, go lay down in my bed. And I laid there, and I remember the covers, like, being on my left side. And I remember um, this voice said, pull the cover over you, like, over your head and everything. And I wasn't just hearing the voice at this time. I was seeing what that voice was telling me to do, was guiding me to do. And so I pulled the cover over, and I'm still weeping. I'm still weeping. But it was like as soon as I closed my eyes, I felt the biggest hug in my life. I felt just, I can't even explain it to you. Like, it just felt so good. It was so comforting. It was so at home. It was so peaceful. Like, if I could say that I experienced, like, uh, what did they call it? Like, like a near death experience. Thank you. A near death experience, like, that was the closest to it. And so, and got it in that, the next, event that occurred was, again, when I was speaking about my grandfather in the beginning. I had a dream that week. This was after my grandfather's funeral and everything. And I remember going going into this really, really deep sleep. And I remember in that deep sleep, I was in my grandmother's house, but I was, like, in the bathroom across from where my grandfather's room was. And he actually passed in his bedroom on the floor. And so, just a gem at that time, I didn't get why he would, pass on the floor, why he would lay down. And so, in this dream, or I'll say heaven, quite honestly, I was really in heaven because the lights were different, the colors were different, like, everything was just so, so beautiful. And so I'm sitting in this bathroom and I hear my grandmother's voice, and I smell a cigarette because my grandfather smoked. And I hear my grandmother's voice say, "You smoking them cigarettes?" And I knew, I felt something. And then I knew, like, my grandfather was just around the corner. I knew he was coming. Prior to him coming, there were these giants that were standing in front of me that looked like my uncles. And my youngest uncle, my mom's younger brother, was one of those, like, gods, or like these giants. And he was laughing, like, and it was not, like, funny to me. Like, I was kind of, like, afraid, like, what is going on? However, I knew I wasn't in the darkness because I was in a private area and there was lighting. That private area being the bathroom. And so, and then my other uncle comes, and he's a giant too. However, military man, army guy, salute, you know, and he's like very like firm, like he's not giggling, he not laughing or nothing. He just comes and sits in the restroom, or in that private area where I am waiting for my grandfather to come. And so finally, this chair appears where the sink would be, and I'm sitting across from my grandfather, and I'm like, hey, like, yo, you, what, like, like, I mean, I touched him, I kissed him, I could feel him, like, I could almost smell him. I believe, I don't recall, like, smelling his scent, anything like that, but definitely feeling him, like, kissed him on the cheek, like, I was like, granddad, and, like, how I knew it was him, it was just a way that he would speak, and he spoke, like, in the exact way, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is definitely Pops, you know what I'm saying, this is Papa, and so, like we have our intimate moment of the kisses and the hugs and hey, I'm glad to see you, and and so he takes me with him to the funeral, to his own funeral. He takes me, and of course, like, no one else sees him because clearly, like, it's his funeral. His body is in that box, and and I'm walking around and people handing out flyers, and I'm like, yo, like, Papa is not dead, like he's not gone, like he's alive, like he's alive. And just amongst that, everyone was mourning the death and they were sad and everything, but I was happy trying to explain it. And so as I was trying to explain these things, no one was listening, no one was believing me, no one was hearing me out. And my grandfather just took me back into this private area where we had this long conversation that I'm still remembering each and every day, that I'm meditating, I'm doing my prayer walks, I'm talking to God, I'm speaking with my higher self, and I'm also speaking with him as my ancestor as well, and it's like we get in this private area, we had this long conversation, and I remember at the very end I knew it was about time for him to leave. But prior to, I want to share with you too, like, earlier in the beginning when I heard my grandmother's voice and the smell of the cigarette and stuff, um, in the beginning, because realistically, the private area I was in, the bathroom, was directly, or is directly, across from my grandfather's room still to this day. However, there's also steps about, I say, 7 feet away from the bedroom and the restroom. And so initially, I see this light, and I want to go upstairs because I heard my grandmother, and I started to take the first step, and something clearly said, it's not time, don't walk up those steps, because directly up the steps was the window of light, and clearly I heard, no, don't go up there yet, it's no, you don't go there. And I was like, all right, cool. So I see that, and so let's fast forward, like, back to talking about my grandfather and stuff, and after this long conversation, and my grandfather basically explains to me, in the essence of all of this, he says, right before we depart, he says, my body just died. And when, hey, how y'all doing, I didn't look down for a second, you know what I'm saying, because I'm just into it. But my grandfather said to me, my body just died. And at 19, going through what I was going through, and at the time, prior to my transition, I was just, like, in a place of, I didn't know what. So I was doing fasting. My grandfather's funeral was like the week before. And so then after that week of fasting, he comes to me, and when he said that to me before he left, I was so in awe. But the most amazing thing that I saw, and I always call this place heaven, what I experienced at heaven, was the fact that when my grandfather was ascending, when we were departing or about to depart, like, his hair went from, like, this this white to this very, like, dark color, like, I mean, silky smooth hair to baby skin, and I mean, just eyes went from brown to blue, like, I mean, just right before me. And I woke up and I was crying and everything all over again. And again, I tried to run in this realm to a family member that I thought would understand, and she was just having a regular day. Meanwhile, I had just stepped into heaven and got up out of there and really just was like, why did I, like, who told me to go? Like, but I knew it wasn't my time. But I shared that to say, like, we 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 are creators of our own world and universe, but there is something that is bigger, not better, just bigger than us, that is aware of a whole lot more than what we can fathom. And so on this journey of awakening and going through trials and tribulations, hurt and pain, like it sucked for me. And it sucked for me up until like this point. Like it sucked up until this point, because like at this point now, like I know what I know, and I'm not here to argue with people. I'm not here to debate with people about what it is that I know. I can't tell you what your experiences are. We may be able to relate, but it's like even the encounters that I've had with heavenly beings and entities, I've honestly seen Christ. What people would say, like, oh, you can't see the face of God. I've seen Yeshua. I've looked him right in the eyes, and guess what? When I met him, I called him Jesus, and he didn't turn away. He did not turn away. He looked at me with awareness that, like it says in the Bible, that we they just don't know. That's what it was, and that's the like look that I got, and it just awed me. You know what I'm saying? That I was in that position, to experience that. And I'm going to share more of the I saw, Yeshua, or I saw the face of God, you know what I mean, in another video, because that there was such an experience that I see now that's come to fruition, and just things are lining up in this realm to receive everything I'm supposed to have now. But again, I had to accept myself. And so I just want to continue to encourage someone as I encourage myself, and share this with you too, is that when my grandfather told me that his body just died, I then discovered and learned about a scripture in the Bible that said to be absent in the body is to be present with God. And I didn't know what that meant until I began to believe it and begin to see it, and I began to expand my territory, my mind, and I stopped believing those religious things. I stopped believing that I wasn't good enough. I stopped believing that I wasn't enough. And I went through a rebirth, you know, as this channel, like, platform, as this channel is called here on this platform, is life after death. Like, I've really been through life after death. You know, I I'm gonna continue to like share my story, so much that I want to share with y'all. You know what I mean? Because it's just a list of things that I've gone through that a lot of folks in my shoes in this vessel, they wouldn't be able to fathom. I realized that I'm a tank. I realized that I can bulldoze through things, and it was like that part of me was the life I was living, angry. Before I had that encounter with my grandfather, and I experienced heaven and all of those things. And still after that, I encountered even more, because, again, it was something about that conversation that me and my grandfather had. And I know now, like, again, those things coming to fruition. And to know now that, even to be reminded and remember, like, you're not alone, and I love you, and I'm with you, and I'm not ever going to leave you. It's not just from my ancestors. It's from my higher self. It's from the Adam of the Adam that made that Adam that I speak on. And forgive me if I'm fidgety. I'm just feeling a movement because my vibration is raising. You feel me? Like I accept myself. Like before I would not come up here and talk about nothing. And at this point, like I don't care about what anybody gotta say. Like I really don't. I really don't, because I know that my words are powerful, and if I take heed to my words, I'm gonna continue to breathe life into me, and breathe life into my purpose as I walk on this journey. You know, I was once bound by the things that people said about me, because again, love was defined as a distraction to me. It was defined as being deceitful, and so receiving that and being so well groomed into it, like again, I went through a death phase where I learned the cycles of life, the circulatory system, the karma, like the infinity to beyond, the as above, so below, the as within, so without. Like I had to learn, like when you just center yourself, when you just center yourself and become nothing, you receive all of it. And I know it can be hard. Like this ain't. I'm sitting in my shed right now, but that house that I've been in for the last 5 years. Let me tell you something. I purchased this home in December of 2019 after I graduated. I became a marine electrician for the government and working for that agency. By January of 2020, I was already in the process of resigning from a job that I thought I was going to be there forever. But I had to be reminded, like, a few months before I was told to leave, and I did not leave because I wasn't confident enough. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. I had the knowing, but I wasn't applying it. And I was told to leave, and I didn't. And so by 2020, I was forced to get up out of there because I realized now my purpose is greater. But what I went through in that process, I'm gonna, I think I may go live about it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want me to do that. But I'm in the process of like thinking about how I'm gonna go about it with making a video or whatever, and just explaining it, and not to complain or like try to regurgitate anything, or trigger anybody, in a negative way, but to just enlighten you on what you can become if you don't give up. Like what you can actually do. Like the power that you have within you, like it's really it's really all you. You know what I'm saying? It's really all you. My man said, bro, sound like Lil Uzi. No, I'm not Lil Uzi. I sound like me. I sound like, you know, what another form of God's voice is. That's what I sound like. You feel me? And Lil Uzi is another form of God too. But Lil Uzi got his own unique voice and sound, just like I got my own unique voice and sound. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to you just for coming up here. I appreciate it. And it's like is and that's the thing, one of the things too. But anyhow, I ain't even gonna get into all of that. I just want to say I appreciate everybody for coming up here watching. I really didn't you know get into it in the comments and stuff. I appreciate the time that you took to even just scroll past. You know what I mean? Just here to reinforce that we all got a purpose, and I'm here to tell my story, share my story with whoever wanna listen up and be here and support it. you know. And I'm gonna continue to do my do, and that's the works that are true to me. I talk about being free, being true, and being you, and that's what I'm gonna be. I know the God within me. I encourage you to have a gratitude attitude and keep it moving. And in the way that you see fit for you and being guided by. I say that ye are gods. But I'm just a God. I'm just another form of God. And I'm here to do great things, and I'm here to fulfill my purpose. So I know things are opening up and getting bigger for me as they are for you. And as we stay in tune and we continue to grow, amplify that gratitude attitude and say thank you. I'm gonna hop up off of here. I really appreciate y'all. God is everything, yo, and that everything is you.